Alright, welcome back to episode 56 of History Rewritten. In the last episode, we had one event. It was quite an important event, because it's going to have important implications towards the Cold War, in that we had World War 2.5. Yeah, that's some stupid name I called it. Anyway, we had these southeastern European nations, such as the yellow one, the red one. I don't want to go through this all again. The ones that are looking better. All these chaps. And then they were up against this poor Blue Nation. And all their kind of friends. Like these guys. And we also had the creation of this ugly Blue Nation that I hate. And it might destroy. So, not in war. I think I might unite it with somebody. Probably the Russians. So we'll see how long they get to survive for. Anyway, that was quite a lot of fun. But it's going to be important in today's episode. Because, let's just start off with the stuff. Yeah, so that was brutal, and it was like, why are we having those European people tearing each other apart? We weren't too friendly, we looked at the world wars. Both the world wars, incidentally, happened in Europe. Well, a lot of it did, at least. It was Eurasia. But like, we've had fascism, not much communism, actually, but like a little bit. Maybe not. Have had fascism though, and that's not fun. And loads of other bad stuff, like loads of killing of people. Look at you guys, and you guys. So tell you what, why are we doing it again? Why is Europe like this? Why is the Balkans like this? What's wrong with the Balkans? And it really made people reevaluate what's going on. And in the end, they're going to have a treaty over here in Baghdad. So the Treaty of Baghdad is one of the biggest treaties in the world. History, I suppose, because they're going to look at a load of things. Starting off, we have these countries deciding they'd like to start a war, and it's with this peachish coloured one and this dark brownish one. They're both going to be declaring war on these two guys. You're like, what? What? They're declaring war on these two countries? Yeah, both of them. Right, so they're going to send their troops in to this country, and this is something. Countries attending this treaty are all of the European countries, so quite literally all of Europe, including the Icelandic ones and the Grenada, all these guys, and then a few African countries, North African countries I mean, and then other members of the Russian and the Arabic Alliance, Aegean Alliance, because the original members were all kind of on the Aegean, and you're near enough. So, that doesn't matter. I mean, the original members were just Greece and Crete, and they were both on the Aegean, so that's why it's called that. Anyway, invading these guys, invading Georgia. We have the brownish nation moving towards the southern end. Both these nations were quite militarized because they hated their counterparts. However, you're wondering, why are they invading? It's a very good question. Because they are looking for all the government people. They don't mind about blowing cities up and things. That's not what they're really going for. They're just out here to kill a load of people in the government, or take them prisoner, or get them out of the government. And this is something the Russians and the Arabs have both said, we should do this. The peach team starts to spearhead towards the old capital of the rust-coloured nation, whilst the brown team works along the southern border. The peach team takes out the brown country and takes half the city, whilst the brown team takes this bit. From there, the peach country will move through the capital and take the capital of the red country, and in the end we have a peace treaty being drafted up between these two countries. And the peace treaty is an act of union. So, there'll be forced union. That's right. We force them to become one country. Although we are going to steal away one of their provinces each, just because the Russians said we could do that. Because, I mean, you lost a lot of lives for not a particularly great reason. I mean, to be fair, moving in to kill a load of people who are making the country bad and invoking hatred between the two states. I mean, it's not a terrible reason for starting a war. It's not a great one. So people who lost family members in that war are all kind of a bit annoyed. But also, it wasn't the biggest war ever. Like, these two guys were supplied with equipment from countries in a Cold War. So, less than 100 people probably died. at least on these two countries, like each probably had like less than 200 casualties on the Russian Arab side. So that's nice. And anyway, they forced these two countries to unite together. They put their capital back in this city, and it's all better again. Well, kind of. Not quite, but it's getting there. That's part 1 of this treaty. Part 2 of the treaty. How about we just split up the Arabic Union? Yep, you heard me. The act of dissolution. Oh, I hate these borders. I hate these borders so much. This is the most gruesome borders I've ever drawn in my life. But regardless, what I'm trying to get at is the Arabic Union will be separating back into the red and the orange nations. And yeah, that was not what people were expecting. They were like, oh well, I guess we're just going to work out some better stuff between these two Cold War powers. Nope. One of them just left the Cold War, and that was the Arabic one, because the Arabic Union isn't a country anymore. It is gone. So yeah, I don't love the borders. Also, I don't hate them. Anyway, there we go. We have these guys coming back from the dead. Interesting turn of events. I bet you didn't expect it. Well, let me tell you, I bet you did not expect this. Following that, we have part 3 of the treaty, in which Cyprus gets its independence. Yeah, but you weren't expecting that either. Basically, the Cretans were going to give them independence anyway, so they had to agree to give the Cypriots their independence when they annexed them from the yellow team, or the pink nation, it was, wasn't it? The one that was like over here. Part 4 of the treaty, we have the red team. The red team. The British allowing a partition of the Sinai Peninsula. Yep. That is between the red team and and the Egyptian country. So the Egyptians are kind of annoyed because the lease was going to end in like a year or something. There wasn't much more of that lease, and then it would be over to the Egyptians because they were this close. I mean, you can't see how close it was because I don't have a face cam, but you know they were very close to just getting all of the Sinai Peninsula. They do have the Suez Canal, but that's noteworthy. However, the Arabic Union and the British now have more rights over the Suez Canal, so it's not great. It's not quite what they wanted. But it could have been worse, so you know what, they'll take it. They get some land, the red team's back and they're their friend, so that's good. Part 5 of the peace treaty. We have, let's move over to this area and give the red team a little bit of land, maybe. Not that land, because that's disgusting, and I hate it. I can just say that in this, but I hate how this land looks. It's rotten. Anyway, we are going to have the Cretans finally fully decolonizing, I would say. There's some islands that you can do colonies, but they're really not. As this colony is given its independence, but it couldn't be that simple, could it? No. Because this colony is split into 2 separate countries, a northern western Anatolian country and eastern western Anatolia. The northern one will be this country. There you go, you're back. And the southern one, oh, it's time, boys, it's time. They've returned from the dead. Finally, this was always my ambition with this country. We've brought back this stupid blue country. I don't know. I just really like this country for no particular reason. Same with these guys, which is why I brought them back as well. But there you go. They have returned from the dead. I feel like I might just... Yeah, the Cretans could keep that island, to be fair. I feel like this island's pretty important, isn't it? They've got a city on it. Let's not destroy the entire Cretan economy. Anyway, as for capital cities, you're going to put yours in Istanbul, and you're going to put your capital city right over here. Nice. And part 6 of the peace treaty, we have the red team joining the Aegean alliance, because technically they left it. The northern blue team joining the Aegean alliance. the southern blue team joining the Aegean Alliance, and the Cypriots joining the alliance. Noticeably, the orange team does not join, and that's because they've gone kind of neutral again. They were pretty neutral beforehand. I mean, like, they attacked the Indians at one point. That's because the Indians moved to a much more green team favourable faction of their religion, which they didn't enjoy, because basically the line team Indian sort of religion is a fusion of green and orange values, because like it was green team people who created the line team, and then orange team people who helped fund them and trade with them, all that sort of stuff. So there you go. And that's the entire treaty, unless I forgot something in which it's not. So there you go. Nice. Oh yeah, I forgot something. Of course I did. We have the creation of the European Union. Lovely stuff. So, an economical union made with all the countries in Europe, so that is all the countries I'm going to put in this circle. And then I'm going to miss out Grenada, because Grenada's not really people's friend. It is all of the... don't mind the green team. All of these countries. So the Russians, it is a British-led alliance, because they have the strongest economy out of any of the European nations. Grenada's not allowed because of this. Sweden, I mean, you might as well add them. I know they have the Panama Canal. But they were going to receive good economic stuff from this anyway, and they're in the British alliance, so you don't want to be mean to the Swedes, because they're your friend. So don't do that. But everyone else, yep, you're allowed to join this alliance, and now we have this huge economic union in Europe. A completely original idea. Love it. Anyway, there you go. It's fun, I suppose. And moving over to South America, though. Time for the Brazilians to do something, because you've been a bit quiet for a bit. How about we stop the drugs trade? At least a little bit. So the Brazilians will be attacking this greenish country. They move in to the eastern areas. I mean, it's the USB. This country has some of the best economic growth in the world. You're not winning this, mate. They make a pretty good spearhead towards your capital. The only thing saving you is the mountains and the forests. I mean, rainforest, really. But, oh well. I'm not sure there's tons of them down here, this far south. However, the mountains are definitely helping. Anyway, they spearhead towards your other remaining city. They take this entire southern portion, and then finally close in on this bit, and capture the country. And the peace treaty, what do you think? Full annexation. Yeah, so the Brazilians are trying to crack down on the drugs trade by annexing countries who have lots of drugs traders in them. I mean, it makes sense, I think. Kind of. And also, this is Brazilian imperialism, but oh well. Don't worry about it. USB be getting stronger. That's nice. And there's our South American update. Anything else we need to happen in the Americas? Not yet. Might be some stuff in the future though. Interesting continent with lots of countries, and also I'm really bummed up, so I don't enjoy that. But how about we head over to Asia, because we have a proxy war happening between the Koreans and the Chinese. We've only had one of these, maybe two. No, one. I was wondering about the Japanese one, but no, I think there's one between the Taiwanese, the north and the southern ones. Apart from that, we have the... sorry, it might make it sound weird. Tasmanians are going to join this alliance with the northeastern Australians, so there's a random piece of trivia. And now we have the dispute. It's between the Vietnamese and the South Chinese. Right, so they have a dispute over this country over here, Hainan. It's not really like a territorial dispute, it's an influential dispute, so they're sending people in and they're trying to get them on each of their sides. Vietnam hates the Chinese because the Chinese forced them out of this bit of China, where they were before, like 1,000 years ago or something. Actually less, like 700 maybe, 600 years ago. So I mean, the sub started World War I over an empire they had 700 years ago. So this is fair. We won't be starting World War III though, because that would be very scary. It started over the island of Hainan. It must be stupid, so don't do that. Anyway, the Koreans support the Vietnamese more now. I mean, they helped out in World War II, I believe. I'm pretty sure they did, at least. And also, the Koreans hate the Chinese, so yeah, that's why. However, the Chinese are, of course, supporting their ally, this brownish nation, and they're both fighting for influence over this country because the Vietnamese kind of want to annex them and just want them to be their friend. And the brown team wants them to join the Chinese alliance with all these guys, not the Vietnamese. All of these guys. There we go. Anyway, nice. So, in the end, I mean, these guys can't declare a war, because otherwise they go to war with this entire alliance, and they get destroyed, because China's like the number 4 strongest country in the world now. That's right, yeah, the number 4 in the world. We have Russia, Green. Oh, wait a minute, no. I forgot. Arabia doesn't exist anymore. Yep, oh, that's right. Arabia apparently doesn't exist anymore. This is definitely going to change a few things. Right, no, what I mean is the Arabic Union doesn't exist anymore. So China, I think, is number 3 in the world, which is interesting. Number 4, I suppose, it's either Britain, the Red Team, or Korea. Oh yeah, speaking of nuclear bombs, all of the Arabic Union nuclear bombs have gone to the Red Team, because these guys don't like them, really. That was kind of a problem they had, but still developing them very quickly, and you're allowed to test them in the Orange Team Desert, so that's good. Anyway, what else was it that I was going to say about that? Oh yeah, I mean, Bengal, they kind of have a similar opinion to these guys, in that they're not allowed to make nuclear bombs, because they probably would have, or could have, because they're a top 10 nation. They're extremely powerful, economic growth is great. Just imagine they recreated the Indian Empire, annex these guys. That would be pretty cool. Anyway, yeah. In the end, the Vietnamese Prime Minister said some unkind stuff to this guy, like lots of unkind stuff, and in the end they end up going to war, which is provoked by this country, so it's not these guys declaring it, which means that these 3 don't have to join the war, so that's good. Anyway, yeah, it doesn't really go well for the Vietnamese immediately, because the brownish country actually started taking quite a lot of land. They managed to push towards this northern city, and it's going pretty well. Oh my god. It's going pretty well. Hainan is just going, wow, this is amazing that you're fighting this over me, but also, remember, they fight like Cold War, proxy war things, other stupid things, like islands, right? So they crawl around this northern Yunnan mountains bit. However, the front lines are going to set in now, and nothing much is going to really happen. Until the Vietnamese manage to go around Hainan and launch an invasion on this city over here, which they were not expecting. They take that, and it's pretty scary actually. They start heading up northwards, and they're trying to trap a lot of these troops behind a huge front line, and manage to take them all down. This is going to cause a huge collapse in the front lines of the southern Chinese country, as the Vietnamese begin to rapidly retake their territory from them. They even managed to retake their city, and it's going pretty well for the Vietnamese country. They're still holding this front line of Vietnamese territory there, so that's not amazing. However, the Vietnamese will continue along the south, and they take this entire stupid looking peninsula thing. I don't know. Sorry, random peninsula in China. They're also going to push down towards this city, and it's not going great for the brown team. And they're not really brown, it's like brownish grey concrete colour. The Vietnamese try and bulk out their front line over here, however supply issues isn't making it easy. In the end, these guys will help to push down the front line here in the north, so that's not great. And this war just, it's really slow. These two are very fairly matched. I would say that you are, this country, they're both kind of in proportion to like how powerful they are on the world stage at the moment, they're probably about as strong as, I don't know, Norway? Yeah, probably Norway. That's pretty fair. Norway's like 30th in the world. You guys are probably somewhere around there. I mean, in the actual rankings in this, you're probably a bit higher. Just because I'm not sure we have 30 extremely powerful nations. I've got like Russia, green team, China, let's say the red team, Britain, Korea, Iberia, Ireland, terracotta. Who do we have after that? I don't know. Bengal. Probably Bengal before terracotta. I don't know. Then the blue team. The American nations haven't come to the element yet. So maybe after that, Grenada. Oh, probably then. Yeah. It's all pretty close to the top, I'd say. Or maybe not quite, but yeah. Somewhere right there. Then Norway, France, Catalonia, the USB, who's making their way up there, but not quite there yet. I don't know, Crimea maybe? The Lime team? I think I said Norway, so maybe Sweden after this. Like, oh no, I've coloured it all now. No, good, great. Like 13 colonies, Greece, Orange team probably, and then at this point, yeah, Baikal, Brittany. I'm just naming a load of countries. Anyway, let's get on with the video, shall we? Oh, Sakhalin, yeah. There's a lot of countries, and I'm trying to do power rankings. I got to like episode 13, so I've done 2 episodes today, but also at episode 13 there's like 60 countries, and there's a load in Britain for no reason. For some reason, I decided, let's make Britain really complicated. So that's nice. Where was I? China. Right, so this war, it's getting pretty complicated. However, they start to just race for cities. The concrete-coloured nation is going to continue along their southern border, whilst these guys go along your southern border, and they each take 2 cities. Equality. Oh God. Something unseen. How the Vietnamese will push around the back of this front line and actually start to reconquer a lot of this stuff, because the people end up needing to flee. And now they've really turned the tables on them, and the Vietnamese are winning this war. Also the Hainan chaps are just kind of like, wow, this is great. Anyway, so they start sneaking along their northern area where there isn't a whole ton of people, but there's also like some important bits because it's on the border of the Orange Nation. And they start moving towards these 2 cities, which they end up capturing. And from here, we have them taking this entire huge area of stuff. Damn it. Stuff. And it's looking pretty good for the Vietnamese. You've only got 40 cities left. If only you had an ally to the north who could help fight for you. Wait a minute, you do. It's these guys. Right, so the Orange Nation. Give me a sec. The Orange Nation could join this war on the side of their friend, the Concrete Nation. Nope, and they attack them. Why am I finding that funny? I'm just a bit stupid, I think. And the borders are nice. If you left the peace treaty like this, you see some of the most hideous borders I've ever made in my life. So let's just not do that. Anyway, yeah, so these guys are going to pretty quickly start hoping to retake stuff. So they take the central area and they start working down these pretty underpopulated bits. And they also retake this northern city over here. Manage to connect up with the Orange team borders. From there, they head down south and retake this city for like the millionth time. I don't know. 3rd. It's nearly a million. And they start separating off these fronts, so it's just the Vietnamese occupying this bit and this other bit over there. At this point, it's not going well for the Vietnamese. The Hainan chaps have turned their views around. There's lots of people going, "Oh, go on Vietnam! What a great guy! Love Vietnam!" And now they've gone, "No, Vietnam's rubbish," just because they want to stay in favour with a strong power. China is now ahead of Korea, if you couldn't tell. The fact that China is the third strongest nation in the world. So that puts an interesting spin on things. Anyway, war's just ended after they got pretty far. So yeah, China could definitely outpace them in this war, but also as a 2v1, and the Vietnamese were winning without having to fight against another country. So I mean, they were doing well, and maybe it would have gone a lot better if it hadn't had another country join. But oh well, that's war for you. It's not fair. And boom. So you kind of, I mean, the Vietnamese kind of annoyed at the Koreans for not helping them enough. Like, dude, what is this? You meant to support me in this war, and you absolutely did not. You scumbag. So yeah, Korea is just kind of speechless. Like, what do you expect? Dude, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Damn it. Peace treaty wise, most important thing is Hainan will now be joining the Chinese alliance, so like the actual China alliance, which is pretty interesting and unexpected. And otherwise, there's just some land for people. Let's have a look at the new land, I suppose. I like that. And there we go. Right, cool. It wasn't the biggest peace treaty in the world, but also wasn't the fairest one, and they also weren't fighting over this land, because a lot of it's mountains. Well, not all of it, really. Some of it is. The concrete nation got the best out of this treaty, because, I mean, they got a city out of it. A city is better than a mountain. Economically, at least. So there you go. China actually did succeed in something. However, let's go to another Chinese ally. This country over here. And also, I've got a cup of tea, so let's drink that. Oceania. Interesting spot. We've got a lot of very poor countries over here. A few that aren't too poor, like all of these Indonesian ones that aren't in Oceania, but they're in this area. Let's look at area alliances, shall we? Because it's about time that these guys fought each other in a war. Like, I mean, look, we've got Ireland over here, the islands of North Vanuatu, New Caledonia, New Zealand's down here, like 6 Australian nations, which is more than one, which is what we have in our thing. 4 nations in New Guinea. Seems kind of stupid because none of them are very strong. Bougainville, Solomon Islands, just a load of islands in the place of Indonesia, North and South Philippines, a load of random unnecessary countries, and also East Timor being stronger than East Timor. That's good. Also, what are you? However, yeah, the tensions are too high. These guys have an atomic bomb. They could destroy any of your cities, and they also could make more, if only the people were better at science. They're not very good at science, basically. Looking at the alliances, though, so northeastern Australia have themselves. North Vanuatu, so these guys, the northern Philippine Islands, southern Taiwan, which is this greenish country, the Spice Islands, which I've these ones, and Tasmania, their newest ally who joined very recently. The Korean alliance has significantly less countries, with Korea, southern New Guinea, this salmon thing, Timor, and this bit of New Guinea. None of these countries are very rich. I mean, like, for the northeastern Australian alliance, these guys I think are the strongest, followed by the Philippines, probably. Then like Tasmania, and these islands, and southern Taiwan, and the Solomon Islands, and the Solomon Islands aren't even in this. You're not even in this alliance. What am I talking about? Yeah, you guys are definitely the weakest though. And like second weakest is this. As for this alliance, it would be this one, Timor, probably these guys, and then this country, and they're all kind of similar, but you guys are stronger than this country, which is going to show in this war. So, the northeastern Chinese will be attacked by the Koreans. So it's not Korean, it's just they're both northern Australian nation. Yeah, so it's kind of tricky. Invading into the desert of Australia isn't going to be easy, especially since it is northern Australia, where there's the most desert. We also have the Salmon Nation, making an invasion into the northern tip of this peninsula. And which other fronts do we have? These guys doing stuff. They launch an invasion into a couple of these islands, and they take this entire pretty huge island. So that's good of them. Well done for that. These guys are helping out as well, along with the blue country, who manages to take this island. Over here, is anything happening? Nope, they're just sending their troops. Lovely stuff. And pretty quickly, the Chinese are going to start repelling their forces. Great. Why do I say Chinese? Northeastern Australians. I just think that this is a Chinese colony because it was a Chinese colony. It looks a lot like the Chinese country. Yeah. Oh well. And the entire population is Chinese. The religion is the Chinese religion. What are the religions actually? We have like a Korean, which is the Korea, Sakhalin, Japan. That religion. So that's here in the north. We have the Northern European Alliance here, South European, North European, North European again, and then the Chinese Alliance, and then over here we have the Northern European one as well. So yeah, very interesting stuff. I mean, this area's got lots of Northern European bits in it. Oh well, yeah, that's cool, I suppose. Yeah, time for the Northeastern Australians to invade into Korea. Oh, I'm stupid. It's not Korea. It's just Northern Australia. Get that through your stupid head. Anyway, they start to move along this bit and take through cities pretty quickly, which is good of them. And they also take some islands as well, before sailing out towards their city and taking it too. Over here in Australia, this is not Australia. Over here in New Guinea, the Chinese have made another landing in the Salmon Nation and taken this city over here, which is like the top eastern bit. So yeah, the entire eastern front, eastern side of this country is going to fall over to China. So northeastern Australia. So that's not good. And I mean, the only thing that's really saving these guys is the fact they have a rainforest. That's really protecting you guys. The islands over here, they're being held by these guys and the Timor chaps. I need to stop calling people. I mean, I don't. But it's bizarre. Because I've never really met anyone who describes people as chaps. Except from books. I shouldn't have read that entire 23 book long series. If you didn't know, I really like books. Fun fact of the day. I like books, stories, books. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, really, didn't think you'd be extremely nerdy when you made a series of 56 episodes about mapping. Yeah, it's depressing. Anyway, so the Salmon Nation is going to pretty much collapse here. They capitulate over to these guys, their capital's taken, and from here a lot of the islands are going to collapse. I mean, Timor's going to pick up a couple of them, what am I saying? They're going to defend a few of them from the northeastern Chinese, who are really carrying this. And the Taiwanese and North Filipinos helped to make a landing on the northern part of this island, which is good, I suppose. Well done to you guys. You did a thing. As for over here, on these islands, we have these ones being recaptured by them, and this one's still occupied, and we're also going to have this one being occupied by the Timor guys. Their capital's on this central island, right in the middle of their load of islands. We have Timor relinquishing their control over to the northeastern Australians over here. And as for this country, a lot of your northern coast is gone. The coast is literally the only bit where people are living in this country, so you need to defend that. Get it? Defend the northern bit of your country. They failed dramatically at that. They even take these islands, one of which has a pretty major city on it. As for this country, I mean, it's not as weak as its salmon counterpart, but also there's like a load of Filipino and Taiwanese troops, along with Vanuatu troops. So yeah, that's not amazing stuff. For you guys. There's defending. I mean, you just lost another city. Well, your first city, I suppose. So that's not great, but you know, it's what happens. You know, it is what it is. And they're just trying to work on the defensive at the moment, which isn't working too well, actually. The northeast, well, the Western Australians, I mean, they're suffering a lot. Big old revolt things happening up in the north. Because the Indians are in support of this, and the Indian population stuff, ethnic population. Whilst the rest of it, they're in support of the Koreans, because they've been fighting with the Koreans in the past 2 world wars. So that's why they fought against these guys in the past 2 world wars. If that isn't enough, I mean, they kind of just have an ancestral hatred of them now. And ancestral hatreds are always the best ones. Anyway, so they curl around to this bit, and actually they receive help from people in the north, in the Western Australian country. So they work on going through the desert, for no particular reason, just to reach over to the border over here. I mean, there's some population by this lake, so yeah. But also, you've now separated them off from the capital city, and I'm sure that's perfectly fine anyway. So this entire bit collapses. Oh no. Yeah. Oh no is an understatement, my friend. Anyway, other things aren't going as badly. These islands are recaptured by the Timor people. However, look whose capital's just been taken. You guys' capital. Uh-oh. Look who else's capital's just been taken. You guys' capital. Right, so this war's just taken a dramatically bad turn if you're supporting these guys. Which I kind of am. In my inner monologue. Timor is now having to carry this alliance by themselves, but you know, they're right over there. So you're pretty screwed. If only there was another country who could join this war. Don't worry, it appears there is. It's this Irish country. Well, the Irish New South Wales colony. They start their attacks on Tasmania and pretty quickly take over the islands that they felt are theirs. So there's that. They take this major city up here in the north pretty quickly, and this is why I made Tasmania join the war, so they had an incentive, other than not wanting to get nuked. That would be a pretty huge incentive. Anyway, they take the capital of Tasmania. You know, Tasmania's pretty crippled at this point. Might as well go deal with the bigger threat, which is the Australians. Well, I mean, Tasmania is also in Australia, so maybe I just need to shut up. They travel along these coastal bits. As you may remember from World War II, these guys did lots of the fighting against the northeastern Australians, because they started in this war from the start. I mean, they were one of the countries that started World War II. Right? Because the Koreans joined an awful lot later, because they were really injured. Near the Chinese, and the Japanese were occupying Sakhalin, and their allies Sakhalin, and Sakhalin didn't want to get destroyed by the Japanese. So that makes sense. Anyway, they're going to start sneaking along this coast, and you know what? That's very good for you, if you're incidentally a Northern Australian. Because a lot of your land just got recaptured. You know who else is having a bad day? These guys. Because guess what? Sulawesi just joined this war. Yeah, this stupid looking country over here just joined this war and helped take out all these islands. Nice. Good job. And yeah, people are kind of looking at this and going, well, this might not be a terrible opportunity to grab ourselves a bit of territory. And there's one country in particular who's thinking about joining this war. The Chinese, the northeastern Australians aren't going to just sit here and lie down, however. They're going to fight back, and they start making an offensive against the Irish New South Wales guys. So that works kind of well, because their capital's right over there, so they need to defend that. However, in doing that, they relinquish control over a load of this stuff. So that's retaken en masse. The Koreans, Northern Australians take a bit of this desert, but also they don't go too far. So it's kind of just like, do you have like a tank or a missile launcher stationed out there? Because if you do, you own that sort of area. Also, we have these guys retaking some territory, because it was basically just the northeastern Australians occupying all of that. This bit retaken. We have these islands being retaken by the people of Timor. And as for up in the north, how about we have a look at another country joining this war? Vietnam. Right, Vietnam wants some Filipino islands because they are unhappy about losing all this stuff. So they're going to join this war on the side of the northeastern Australians. Just so they can get themselves some Filipino stuff. They're joining the side of the northern Australians. They want this, which is why they're attacking them. The Filipinos were not expecting this, so they pretty quickly start losing islands to the Vietnamese. This was not what you predicted today, unless you'd looked at the thumbnail, in which you might have predicted this. And they started pretty good offensive into this area, taking one city and another one on an island. But they're making their way towards the capital, which is good. And in the end, the Filipinos are going to be taken out of this war. Next up, we have these guys being attacked. And these guys, I mean the Southern Australians. I think I'm just stupid. Southern Taiwanese, they're taken down by the Vietnamese. And at this point, well. I don't think you're going to win this war, mate. The Korean ex-colony, I saved it just at the end there, starts working on this bit. We have the Salmon Nation, who I've not recolored in, but they're fine, taking some territory as well, and they begin their path down here. The old Irish colony will take this stuff, and it's in fact the New South Wales guys that take the capital of this country and effectively kind of end the war. And they arrive just in time to take the atomic bomb, because otherwise that could have gone really badly. I mean, just imagine they'd launched the atomic bomb. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I'm going to say, oh, well, they did. No, instead it's a different twist. Yeah, there's no atomic bomb there. I'm like, where did it go? What have you done with the atomic bomb? Where are you hiding it? How much to the desert do I need to search to find this thing? I hand it over right now, or else we'll blow up a load more people. Anyway, it turns out the northeastern Australians don't have it anymore. Why is that? It's because they sold it. Yep. They sold an atomic bomb to a rising power in the world, but who did they sell it to? I don't know. Don't ask me. I don't know why I know. I only make it. Who do you think it is? I mean, a lot of options. It's somebody who doesn't have an atomic bomb already. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It was the Indians in India. You, for a brief moment, I said Indians in. You thought it was these guys. You thought these guys bought it. I may have said that too quickly. I'd like to do a retake. Anyway, yeah, the Lime Team's just bought an atomic bomb and all the information on how to make atomic bombs and nuclear bombs. So that's not good for the world. So yeah, a few people are pretty terrified. Like Bengal, you're scared. And a lot of these guys are pretty scared. You don't want more nuclear territory in your country. But, I mean, mutants are cool, right? No, don't nuke people. Kids, lesson of today, don't nuke people. Anyway, how would you like to look at a peace treaty? Because I would, and I'm going to have to craft that up whilst you're here. So these South Taiwanese just suffered reparations, whilst the Filipinos, I mean, you have to give a load of islands up. Haha. There you go. The South Philippines is definitely doing a lot better than the Northern Philippines, who is really just suffering. They've lost a load of stuff to the Vietnamese. Like, how? How do the Vietnamese take land from us? So the Vietnamese are now in the Filipino island chain, and this is kind of just brought on by the fact that they lost a war to these two guys. So yeah, repercussions, I suppose. If they hadn't lost that war, they wouldn't have declared war on the Philippines, and the Philippines would have been fine. But as it is, they did declare war on them, so the Philippines is not fine. Anyway, next up we have these guys taking some land from the Spice Islands. We also have Timor, who is absolutely fine really in this war. They get some more islands. And the other country we have is these guys, and they get the remaining islands of this country. It's just torn apart. It was not working. Like, one strong typhoon would have torn this place apart. You can't help out all the populations in your country, because they're miles away from everyone. Yeah, might as well just absorb it into some other countries. I mean, the entire religion is the Korean, Northeast Asian one, because it was a Ceylonese colony. So this is kind of why Civilisation wanted to retake it. Also, apparently I'm stuttering. I don't know. I just stuttered again. I think I'm just... today's not going amazing. No, today actually went pretty well. I did some math revision. I did some biology revision. I played Talisman. I wanted to go outside, but it's stormy, so that's annoying. And now I'm recording a video. That's fun. So yeah, today's not gone too terribly, I wouldn't say. There's the daily me update. It's the weekend as well, so that's another good point. I just like, sometimes when I try to say things, my mind just wants to say two different words. So it's like thing and point. So it's yeah, so I said that instead. I'm really glad of that, because I hope I never have to do loads of public speaking. Actually, I kind of want to, because I feel like if I end up doing loads of public speaking, I'm probably doing something that will earn me money. And I like money. Money's good. In large quantities. Get me monetized, guys. Only, I don't know, 995 more subscribers and 625 more views. And then I'll earn oh my god. Then I will earn £5 off of YouTube every year. So that's good. Yeah, North Australia will be taking a lot of this unhelpful stuff. The Salmon Nation up here in the north will be taking this weird looking peninsula, pulled an opposite Victoria on them, as you may know. The state of Victoria within Australia used to own Papua New Guinea and actually gave them independence. I mean, Australia did, but like, oh well. So you get that, that's cool. These guys, you will receive, probably not that really, all this territory, but now instead of a northern, oh my god, instead of a northeastern Australian threat, we have an Indian threat in the world. So, yeah. And to be honest, the Indians are much more deadly than the northeastern Australians, because they have a lot more money. In fact, the northeastern Australians' only reason for getting this bomb was to give one to the Indians. In a story perspective, that's true. Also, apparently these guys didn't capitulate. They just kind of sat there in this ugly mess. So that's nice for them, I suppose. They did capitulate. I just didn't do anything about it. In this peace treaty, they're not going to lose that much, really. They're just going to lose all these islands in between them and the Australians. So there's that. Our new Oceania. Lovely. Nothing happens to these guys because there's no point, really. Nobody cares enough. There you go. Nice. I think I made East Asia so much better today. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, which I hope you did, like, subscribe, comment, and I will see you again next time. Have a nice rest of your day. Goodbye.